Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. How you doing this morning? Vlogsters. I'm tired. Today is Wednesday. This is another one of those vlogs I like to get up same day. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of you all. When I decided to start YouTube, obviously I did it as a means of income. That's what my job was going to be. I was going to put everything that I had into it to help my family. I want you to know, never for a second did I say, oh, that's going to be an easy job, or I just knew that my physical limitations would not get in the way of the job. It would just be my drive or my ambition, you know, my motivation to actually do it was really the only thing that was gonna make an impact negatively if I didn't have any motivation. All that aside, I knew from being a part of other YouTubers, families, that we may become a family. Like, that was my intention, that was my goal with it. I didn't want to just create tutorials and not interact with everybody. That's never was my goal. And I actually, one of the things that I wish we were fast forwarded to the future, where I was able to only put up like 2 videos a week, so that I could spend the rest of that time not only in just production and post-production, but in the community. I so miss interacting on a daily basis. I know that part of that is my own doing. I took on to do videos every day, which does take time. Then it's time that I have not to focus on the comments and stuff. But it's also that there's more and more comments. Obviously, when I first started and I only had, 800 people watching it, there was not as many comments as there are now. But I miss that part of the growing. And people ask me, there's all these tips and tricks to grow faster, and yes, there are, and I know them all, and I could do them all. And financially, I probably should do them all. However, spiritually and emotionally, I prefer to just keep it, sorry, I'm cleaning as I'm going, as you see that. I prefer to keep it a little bit more intimate for now, let it grow slowly, so I could kind of keep up with it, even though that I'm really not keeping up with it. So all of that, just to lay the groundwork for, I didn't really have any idea that I would become, like, that we would develop friendships. I knew that there were people, again, just from watching other people's YouTube channels, there were people that were special or stood out, or that you could relate to on a different level for one thing or another. But there are just the people that have really connected with, not to say that I don't love each and every one of you. It's not even about that. Obviously, that's not the case at all. It's just that there's been something about our interaction that has really sparked, I don't know, I want to say a deeper friendship. I am really always willing to talk to anybody who wants to reach out. But sometimes the conversations are, you know, focused just on the crafts or just on the videos or just on the channel. And some reach out in a more intimate way. So it's just a very wonderful added bonus, I guess I want to say. When you're a creator and you put your life on the channel, you get some people's bits and pieces of people's life stories in the comments, but you don't really get to know them very well. I don't really get to know you guys like you know me, to no fault or anything. I'm not saying, it's just so that's why it stays at a sort of a different level. But when some of you all reach out to me with your stories and your intimate details, and then it becomes a little bit more of a friendship. So there are a few, I'm not mentioning any names in this video, but there are a few viewers and other creators who I have really feel like I've bonded with a bit. And I wanted to come on here and say that because I don't really go into things with expectations. I mean, I always have hopes and I always have goals that I'd like to achieve, but I really don't ever go into something with expectations, because for the negative side of it is that you don't want to get disappointed. If you don't have expectations, you do have goals. Like I said, you have goals and you have hopes of what you would like it to be. But when you don't have the actual expectation, like saying, well, I'm going to make $1 million in 1 year, you know, like that expectation, as opposed to I'm going to try my hardest and I'm going to put all my effort into it. You know, that's different. So when you don't have expectations, you don't get disappointed. That being said, I never in a million years expected, even if I could imagine an expectation, or if I had expectations for it, I never in a million years would have expected what sort of this part. I mean, I never really would have expected this part. I really never dreamt about this part, that I would have actually like what I feel like are friends, like lifelong friends. I feel like it could be. Well, it could be. I mean, I feel like we're headed towards that. I feel like that these people that are in my life now will continue to be in my life. And as you could see from the two main friendships that I have, I sort of have like lifelong loyalties anyway. So if you don't want a lifelong friend, don't dig the burrs in. That's all I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding. No, so it's just, I think it's like a really beautiful thing. And like I said, a very unexpected, but very, very, very large blessing. Now, some other subscribers, viewers, users? That was supposed to be viewers. YouTube viewers came out as users. Some other subscribers, viewers, have also been so extremely generous. I actually have two of the people that I consider friends to also be extremely generous, but I tell them constantly that your generosity is not a condition of my friendship. I don't like you because you give me stuff. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. And it actually gets to the point where I'm like, stop giving me stuff, because if you want me to still like you. I'm just kidding. I don't say that. But in a conversation we were having, we were talking about when I first started receiving gifts, contributions, or cards, letters, whatever the beautiful friend mail comes. When I first started, I had an emotion that I wasn't really aware that I had. And at first, and I bring this up because we were just in a conversation about it, At first, I did think it was pride. My parents, I always thought, had too much pride to accept welfare. We grew up really, really, really poor. I mean, obviously we had a home, but for the place that we lived, we were very low income. We didn't get new clothes. We didn't always have food, never mind proper nutrition. We almost never had proper nutrition. Holidays, I feel like. But there were times we went without food. There was times we went without electricity, and I got our water cut off. And they had a different set of priorities, my parents. But it was like, as long as the mortgage always got paid, that was the priority. But they never accepted assistance. They never accepted government assistance. My parents took in my 2 cousins whose parents were struggling, and they lived with us for 7 years. And my mom, it was right after I was born, so my mom went from having, like, right before I was born, she had 4 children under the age of 5, and in a course of about 6 months, from what they tell me, she went to having 7 children under the age under the age of 10. I meant to say 10, I'm sorry. She had 4 children under the age of 10 to having 7 children under the age of 10. And technically, my brother was 5 years older than everybody else, so she had 7 children under the age of 10, but she actually had 6 children that were like 5 and under, or 6 and under, depending exactly what, So that's a lot. We talked about, I used to ramble. My mother had a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, 2 4-year-olds, 2 3-year-olds, and a newborn. Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about that. But that being said, because of that, they never took any assistance. They never took any assistance to take care of my cousins. My nan came to live with us, and that helped. My nan was still working. She was a switchboard operator for a doctor's office when they had switchboards. That was in the 70s. And she worked for a few years, and that helped. And then she was able to retire, and then that helped. Social Security was kicked in, and she was able to get Social Security and be home with us so my mom could work more. Just a lot of, we have, I guess, like the working class sort of story that happens a lot. We didn't have, like, money to go to the doctor often, but you needed to get, like, in where I grew up, it was like when you entered school, you needed a physical. When you entered 4th grade, you needed a physical. When you entered 7th grade, you needed a physical. And then high school. Basically, every time you started a new school building, which is when you would change, like, that's the years that we would change, you needed a physical. So that, that would have to, my parents would pay for that. And then if we were really sick, like beyond whatever you can, whatever, cough medicine, or my sister Julie used to get tonsillitis a lot, so she would get, like, she'd have to go and get antibiotics and stuff. But, so it was a lot. It was hard. So all of that to say, when I always thought it was pride. I always thought my parents had too much pride to accept help. And when I started accepting, or people started sending me gifts, I kind of felt like it was pride for me too. But I've done some reflection. I've done a lot of prayer and thought about it. And what I realized was it's not pride, because I accept gifts from my friends and family. Like, it's not pride. What it is that I always was ingrained with the fact that there are so many more people out there in need that when I become one of them, I don't recognize it, if that makes any sense. Now, again, I am gracious now that I can accept these gifts. I think that they're beautiful gestures. And many people say it's not about the getting, it's about the giving. So they give them because they want to. It speaks on their heart and such. But I I know that I don't need as much as others do, but I do understand that there are some people out there who are, just like when we were growing up, who are in a much better financial situation, that want to see me have like the little extras that they can afford for themselves. I've gotten that now. It took me a while. But when we were growing up, it was the same way. My mother had a few, it's going to sound very perverse right now, but it's not. She had a few adult male friends that kind of adopted us as like godchildren, even though we weren't. They just treated us, they bought us like something special, almost like a big brother, big sister program kind of thing. Where they just treated us to some little extras at Christmas time or our birthdays. And it's just, I won't ever forget it. My first camera, my mother had a friend who, call him out, his name was Frank McGurk, and he gave me my first camera. It was a 110 camera kit from Kodak. Back in the 70s. And it really made a difference in my life, like, because I got to see life through that little box and find the beauty in the ugly, kind of. That's how I always, and not in the ugly necessarily, sometimes it's just in the mundane, but to find the beauty in the little things, you know, I was able to finally express that side of myself. So anyway, but that was the same thing, so that we knew that we had less than some and more than others, and it was okay to accept the little things that would make us feel a little special for the moment. And all of this is to say that's where I am right now. So I am extremely, extremely grateful for everybody who's been able to donate supplies, whether they're, you know, friend mail, monetarily, just the cards to say you're thinking about me. A friend mail video compilation will be coming up. I got a beautiful card with just a keychain in it from FrugalMommaNTheWoods and her daughter, who has a channel called I'll put the actual, like, because there's, you know, spaces and stuff, but it's the broke Fashionista. Actually, I'll link their channels in the description box down below. That's best. But she just had this beautiful little cross charm on a keychain, and she sent it to me in a card, and it was just like, it just spoke to my heart in the moment. I just really needed that kind of thing. I mentioned on the live stream, and I don't know if everybody watches the live streams because they are like an hour long, but Jim has lost his job and we are struggling, not financially. Well, I'm sure we will be, put it that way, but I'm taking it one day at a time. But I'm struggling to see like where the future's gonna unfold, and I have faith. I have so much faith, or else I don't even know what I would do, honestly. That it will all work out in his time. But then a friendship that I developed here, or not I developed, that is developed here. A friend reached out to me and said that she would donate what to me is a very substantial amount of money. And I just looked at it like, I feel like it's just God watching out for us through you. I know that sounds crazy, but I just feel like it's such a blessing. You guys are such a blessing to have. And I do hope that you feel at least partially that way with me. I feel like if if I've been able to teach you, whether it's how to tie a bow or how to save $3 or how to clean without being exhausted, whatever it is that I feel like I can be a blessing to you as well. I hope I am. That's the hope. So I need coffee. This has been a little bit of a long vlog. Sorry. Lately I've been opening friend mail and I've really tried not to start breaking down. I have done my best to hold back tears, but I don't want you guys to think that your gifts don't make me emotional, because on the contrary. But I feel like every time somebody sends me something, I'm gonna cry on camera, and it's sort of getting like, okay, Jeri, we get it, you're emotional. We get it, you cry, you're a Cancer, you cry all the time for everything. Yeah, I get it. Oh, but I want to thank you all for chatting with me this morning, and again with your patience with the comments, and first and foremost for all of your kindness and support and generosity and love that we just get pouring in on us. It really does remind me that I'm in the right place, that I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons, for the right people. So thank you. And as always, God bless. See you next time. Bye.